Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this planet we call Earth. And this is for you, Sunshine, on Sunday, day 49 of Daddy in Dubai. And look, yesterday we had Papa Blockchain, who I've known for 5 years, in the mix, giving you uh, some advice. And me and him had a conversation. And that was the birth of an idea. I thought, you know what? I'm going to now invite people on the show because I can. And I think it's a really good idea. So, day 49 of Daddy in Dubai. And today we've got guest number two. We call him Ratty, but his real name is Mark Ratnavira. And we met 21st of March 2 years ago. So 2 years and 8 days since we met. And we met through a mutual friend um, called Tina. I had a project, an idea at the time. And she said, "You need to meet my boyfriend, Mark." And I never forget, we spoke for a few hours. Then we spoke for a few more hours. And 2 years later, this
We speak for
gentleman,
hours.
yeah, this gentleman um, has been a constant throughout those 2 years. And just as we spoke before, the initial conversation of what my plans were and what I wanted to do are actually real right now as we speak, 49 days in Dubai. So, Jaden, I don't think you've met Mark. I don't think you've spoken, but now is your chance. Mark, Mr. Ratty, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you. I'm privileged to be here, Jaden, and I think it's a fabulous idea. And it's been a real honor and an amazing experience to be working with your daddy for the last 2 years. Every day is an education, and every day is a blessing. It brings a smile to my face whenever I have a message or a video from him. So, and I hope that these will be shared with you as well, and many others around the world.
Yeah. So look, in the last 24 hours since I spoke to Papa Blockchain, Mr. Pekka, all the way from Finland, um, in the last 24 hours, I went to the World Cup races. And Mark is witness to most things that go on every day because Mark works with me in Audacious Associates, consciously connecting people. And, you know, in life, you all have your own skill set. And you could say, I have a natural skill set of speaking, storytelling, and dressing up, right? And Mark is privy and has experienced a majority of that. And he experienced my swagger yesterday. Um, and I could have quite easily been the best dressed guy in the venue. And Mark witnessed that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You were looking so sharp. I mean, I was speechless. Yeah. Impact.
Okay, so look, I want to bring up something, right? Which is really necessary because it's something that we both became privy to after a meeting. And it's a quote by Tom Ford. And he says, "Dressing well is a form of good manners." So, Jaden, take note. Dressing
Yeah.
well is a form of good manners. And look, no doubt, it's not something that you, at the age of 10, put too much consideration into. But as you get older, you may do, right? But if you do, just know that it's a form of good manners to dress well and present yourself well. But look, we're going to talk about the journey I've had, right? And look, in the last 49 days, there's a lot of stuff that's happened. And part of the journey is for me to say thank you. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Mark Ratnavira, also known as Ratty, for being a constant. support, and a person of grounding, right? Because your daddy does have really outrageous ideas. And sometimes you need someone just to go, hey, calm down a bit, calm down a bit. And this chap up here is is one of those guys. Would you agree, Mark?
I'd say you're welcome. First of all, it's been it hasn't been hard at all. If anything, I think the most important thing is to listen. Okay, and I think people need to be heard. Yeah, and whether you agree with it or not, listening is also a very, very good support mechanism, I think.
Mm.
So I don't think I have ever brought you down, Dizzy, because that's impossible.
Not bringing me down, just kind of grounding me,
Calm
right?
you down. Yeah, grounding is just I believe is listening, and I think part of who you are and your greatness is that you have that energy. Yeah, and for me, I've worked with people from around the world. Yeah, thousands of people.
Mm.
When you see that energy, you don't want to interfere with it.
No,
It
but
has
look,
to run its natural
let me
course. Yeah.
tell you the bits where you have grounded me, and I thought, you know what? Because look, Jaden, Mark is a little bit older than me. He's been in the corporate world for many years, and then he went into humanitarian aid. Right now, to be someone who does humanitarian aid, you have to first of all be human, right? And have the human characteristics. And I think where you've grounded me is I've got emotional for many times. And
Mm.
you've grounded me in the sense to say, listen, come out of anger, calm down. And look, those are the most valuable um things to be aware of, right? You're gonna grow up, Jaden, and you're gonna meet people that have these skills or characteristics that just calm you down a little bit because you don't want to be too happy and you don't want to be too sad. You kind of want to be balanced in the middle. And I know over the last couple of years, when I've got really emotional, whether it's anger, sadness, happiness, Mark has been the equalizer that's brought it into order so that it can be dealt with because everything I'm going through, Mark's already done it. Mark has two children that are way older than you. He's also been married and unmarried. He's been through that process too. And knowing somebody that's been through that is a very valuable thing because uh, it says in my book that every problem you will face, the human race already has a solution for in place, right? And the fact that you've been through so many things already in your life, in the corporate life and the humanitarian life and the married life and the parent life and all of those things, I think it's valuable to have people in your life that you listen to and they give you guidance. And so Mark has been that constant what's the word, sounding board that's listened and I have listened to you plenty of times, mate. I'm not gonna lie, as I had something in my eye. And look, what as I say that, one of the things that needs to happen, and I might as well talk about it now, and put it out there, is Mark still doesn't have a copy of my book after 2 years,
Oh
right?
yeah, I realized that the other day. Yeah,
Yeah, so at some point in the near future, we're gonna have to meet in Dubai and
absolutely. That's the
and
deal.
and give him a
Signed copy.
signed copy. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm coming to Dubai for my signed copy. It's not going to mean anything otherwise.
yeah. Well, look,
That's important after the last 2 years. Yeah.
yeah, no, it is important. But look, this morning, um, I had a thought, okay, and I'll share the thought with you both.
Okay.
That is, I interviewed Dr. John D. Martini for when I was doing sit down Sundays. I don't know if I knew you then, Mark, but I
Okay.
joined
Now.
the World Transformation Organization as an ambassador. And one of the things that I managed to do, which I've always wanted to do, but I never got around to doing it, was I wanted to interview Dr. John Demartini. So 20
Okay.
years ago, I did a series called Find Your Genius, and I had loads of legends on there that which agreed to being interviewed by me. And John Demartini was one of the people that I wanted to interview, and it never ever happened. And so when it did eventually happen, it was a dream come true, and it's still online now. And I do actually have tears of gratitude in the interview, and the interview only lasts like 32 minutes because I just didn't know what to say. And then I spoke to Manmeet and I said, listen, do you think John would be up for writing the forward in my book? And she went, just email him. So I emailed him. And you're not going to believe the reply that he sent me back. And to this day, I still haven't done it. And the reason is because it scared me, right? And I know, son, you're probably saying, Daddy, you're not scared of nothing. But this is what actually happened, right? John replied back saying, Dizzy, sure, I can do a forward for you. And he was going to charge me $2,000, 20 years ago to do it. He's going to do
Hmm.
it for free now, right? And what he said to me
Okay.
was, just send me an email with what you think I would say about you and your book. And I was like, hold on a second. You want me to write down what I think you think of me? And I guess the only thing that has stopped me from doing that is because I don't see myself on the same level as him. So how can I write down what I think John DeMartini would say about me in my book? And that, I don't know when that was. It was more than 2 years ago.
Okay.
But I've never replied back with what I think um, he would say about me. And he goes, look, once you've sent me that, if I don't agree with it, I'll change it. But to have
Okay.
the guts to say what John's going to say about my book, to me was, I didn't have the guts to do it. But this morning when I woke up and I went through my list of people that I interviewed a little while ago, um, 20 years ago, I felt I can do it now. I know what John's going to say about my book. And I believe he won't correct it too much. If anything, he's going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth, Dizzy.
Okay.
So that's what's going to happen in the next 7 days. Because look, what has happened in the last 7 days, even the last 48 hours, is nothing short of epic on a scale that I can't actually put into words or reiterate or elaborate on this platform as we speak because I don't think it's necessary right now for me to share that information. It's not really appropriate yet. And maybe it won't be appropriate to share such information right now. But um, yeah, that's where I'm at.
I think every day is yeah, being in the audience is probably the best way to describe it, Dizzy, because I'm not there. So I have the download. So Jaden, it's like every day just a new exciting chapter. I look forward to it because when your dad says it's been legendary, I've had an epic. I just sit there with a big smile on my face, having no idea what new things has come up, and some of them, in fact, most of them actually, you can't make them up. Okay, it's just
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, and it's been phenomenal the last 49 days, isn't it?
that's right. Yeah, we're on day
Yeah,
49. I mean,
it's
on,
just mad.
on day 47, um, I had a meeting, and it's probably the one of the greatest meetings I've ever had in my whole life, as far as the magnitude of the numbers and the conversation that's available, right? And after that meeting, I made a video in this hotel. where it had all the bottles in the background, right?
Okay.
And then after that episode, I went to the toilet, and this hotel, honestly, is so ridiculously big. It just makes you think, what on earth? Why would you make something like this so ridiculous, right? Anyway, as I walk through the lobby, I see a guy sitting on a little seat like this, and he's got a t-shirt that says Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street. And Mark will remember this, but it's a movie. I don't know if it's from the 80s or the 90s, but it was
The 80s. Yeah, it's
the
80s.
80s.
Yeah.
It was a story about people that would go to sleep, and when they went to sleep, they'd see Freddy Krueger. It'd only come when you in your sleep, so people would try and stay awake. But this guy, his whole body was burnt. He wore a hat. In fact, why am I
The
not wearing
film
a
is,
hat?
yeah, the film is actually the hat's similar. Yeah, the film is
Yeah,
Friday the 13th.
and it's Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Okay, yeah.
And Freddy he wears a black and red um, jumper that's ripped, and then he has knives or claws, and then he murders people. He kills them in their sleep, right? So everyone's scared of going to bed. So so
I've
completely
never seen it. I've never seen it.
okay, it's horrible. Um, it's the most horrible thing you could ever want someone to watch and put into their brain, because what's going to happen? You're going to be scared to go to sleep. You're going to have a nightmare. And that obviously was the purpose of the movie.
Hmm.
So when I walked past this guy, I had to stop and say something. And I said, "Excuse me, mate. You look old enough to know, and I'm old enough to know about that movie you got on your chair, on your t-shirt." Anyway, so we had a really good laugh and a conversation. And upon talking, I said to him, "It sounds like you're from Canada." And he went, "Yeah, you're correct." Anyway, he goes, "Look, I'm gonna have to go now." I said, "Well, listen, my name's Dizzy Taylor, Dizzy with a Y, Taylor with an I. Stick it in Google. Um, and if you find me and you want to have another further conversation, then by all means, we'll have a conversation, right?" So anyway, the next I carried on, and in the evening, when I checked my LinkedIn profile, I had a message from this guy, and his name is Faisal Sheikh, spelt Sheikh as in Sheikeh, like the Dubai Sheikhs, right? And on his profile, it said shaking the world. And I was like, that's my kind of guy. Anyway, one of the messages he sent me a message, and he said, "Dizzy, I'd love to bump into you again. Let me know if you fancy having a coffee on Sunday." Ladies and gentlemen, Jaden, Mr. Ratty, today is Sunday, the 29th of March. And I've already had coffee with him. We spent 2 hours talking, and he's an absolute legend of all legends. I'm not going to divulge who he is, what he is, and how he does what he does, but his story is phenomenal. And no doubt in the future, um, he will be a guest and share the story, because we are two kindred souls. He's a little bit ahead of me, but he has a remarkable story. Um, and Mark, I will send you all these
Yeah.
details.
Yeah.
See
Send me the detail.
the magnitude of the kind of meetings I'm having. There was when I was 19, a gentleman by the name of Dennis Fleming said to me, "Everything you are seeking is seeking you in return. Therefore, everything you want is already yours. All you have to do is become aware of what you already possess, and what you already possess is the truth." Which means that whatever it is you're looking for, it's also looking for you. All you have to do is become aware of what you already possess, and what you already possess is the truth. So the question is, are you being truthful with yourself, number one? Are you being truthful with other people when you talk? How much truth are you displaying? And the truer you are, the closer you'll be to the magic. Because knowing what this guy does and the level he does it at, and knowing what my plans are, it just fits completely so
Mm.
easily. As in, how is that possible? And that it's only possible. And Jaden, check this out whenever you're doing your research. There's a theory called the 6 degrees of separation. I'm not going to go into it because it's quite
Yeah,
deep. But if you're willing to look at black holes, and I don't know if you watched yesterday's episode, Mark, but I was
I
telling,
haven't yet. Sorry.
I was telling Pekka, Papa Blockchain, that because I have a premium YouTube channel, it doesn't have adverts. So Jaden goes on there, but the difference is I can see the history of what he's been watching, right?
Okay.
And a few weeks ago, I had a look on the history because it comes up, and it said that someone had been looking into black holes and what happened before the Big Bang,
Okay.
and I was like, who's been looking at that? And when I did speak to Jaden, I said to him, were you looking into this? And you know what? He said yes. And I was like, wow. I had a proud dad moment at that moment when I was like, wow, my son
Cool.
at 10 years old is inquiring about black holes and the Big Bang. And you know what? These are all things that uh, I was interested in, but not at that age, right? So, Jaden, to for you to be interested in those kind of things, man, it makes me nothing short of proud to be a dad, you know. And look,
Oh,
when he does get to watch it, and in every episode, I'm going to post it to your phone so you get a chance to watch it. But in every episode, with every guest, they're going to give some advice to you because this is your digital daddy, and this digital daddy will be here long after my physical form is gone. And look, that's one thing. Remember, I said to you, prepare for the worst, expect the best.
mm.
And the first time I said this to him, Mark,
Mm.
we were driving
So true.
when we were driving to Bradford, and I said to him, "What's the worst case scenario today?" And surprisingly, it was to do with gaming and his device not working. And I laughed because I thought, typical, that's your world right now, right? He's 10 and he loves games. And I said to him, I said, what if I can make it a little bit worse? And he went, go on then. I said, what if I died? He went, that's pretty bad, Daddy. That's pretty bad. And yeah, it would be bad at the time. But I said to him, I said, what you've got to understand is you haven't got your average daddy, right? Most daddies, once they leave this planet, most of them haven't written a book, right? Most of them uh, have not made any YouTube videos. Most of them do not have friends that are motivational speakers. Most of them do not have transformational coaches as their friends. And I said to him, I said, I know for a fact, if you ever met John D. Martini and I went before him and you met him and you asked him, do you know my dad, Dizzy? He's going to say, yeah, of course I know Dizzy. Because John and I go back 20 years. And so knowing that, doing these videos every day whilst I'm in Dubai as your digital daddy, these are moments that cannot be taken away. So whether you are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, whilst YouTube is around and eventually it will go on the blockchain, so it will be there forever, you'll always have access to me and my guidance and advice. That obviously the difference would be you can't talk back to me. But even, I mean, look, Papa Blockchain was talking about having your own AI agent, and it wouldn't surprise me if there was an AI digital version of me that we could get programmed that you can talk to.
Oh
That
wow, now that would be fascinating.
I mean, the thing is, that's the future,
It will
right?
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, in that episode, Mark, when you watch it, one of the
Mm.
questions that Pekka asks, he goes, Dizzy, do you know when AI was first used? And I said, I didn't know the answer. But the first AI was used in 1953, which
Okay.
I was quite
Interesting.
I was quite shocked about. But look, it's an interesting episode.
Okay, no, I'll definitely watch that.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's out there now. So look, Mark, if you could give Jaden one bit of advice, what would you tell him?
Yeah. So yeah, Jaden, Dad said I've been around the world and I've met so many people, um, kings, beggars, you name it, in different countries, and it's something that I was told by someone very special to me, my late mum, and when I was your age, probably a little bit younger, 9, and she told me, "Son, whatever you do, people will talk wherever you go, and one of the things you should always remember is actions speak louder than words." And it's a little thing. And particularly in this world, I use it every day in everything that's underlying. It's the actions of people that actually determine who they really are. And a great example of that is your dad. One of the reasons I look forward to speaking to him every day, he's a man of his word. He says he's going to do something. If he says, I'm going to Dubai within 12 months, yeah, he's there. Okay. And I think it's a good thing and it's kept me safe, my family safe, and my friends and people I love in the world safe as well. So I think that's what I'd like to gift you and tell you to keep that in mind always.
Cheers,
Is
Mark.
that about right?
That's
Yeah.
about right, man. Look, end of the day, this is an opportunity for not just for me to give guidance to my son, but to get the people that have helped me to give a bit of guidance to him. Because from my experience, everyone I've spoken to about this concept, they've gladly said, by all means, mate, because this is not an income opportunity.
Hmm.
It's an opportunity for me to stream my life, right?
Hmm.
And for those of you watching, if you haven't already said, click the like button, click the subscribe, and leave a question, whatever it is. I do look at all of them. We're very early in the channel as we speak, but there is lots of exciting stuff coming. I've got a up and coming sponsor for the show. They don't know they're going to sponsor me, but they are. Um, so there'll be a sponsor for the show, which will come with benefits. So these are all the things that are being prepared. Um, and look, Mark, I really appreciate your time coming on, and more so than anything else, I appreciate your partnership and commitment on this journey because it has been a journey, right? The last 2 years.
Yeah, it has been. It's brilliant.
The terminology is you got to kiss a few frogs, right? And
Yes. And we've kissed a few.
yeah, literally.
And there's more to come. There's
There's
more to
more to
come.
come. Look, there's going to be people, Jaden, you meet in your life. You're going to see him maybe for one day. There's other people you'll know for a month. There'll be other people you know for a few years, and then there'll be others that you'll know for your rest of your life, right?
Mm.
So, Mark, this is Daddy in Dubai episode day 49, episode 49, whatever you want to call it. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure, as my good friend Les Brown would say. And yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a privilege. Thank you very much. And I wish you all the best.
Yeah, well,
Lots
listen,
of
look,
love.
thanks for being guest number 2, right?
I'm privileged. Yeah, thank you. Take
Daddy,
care.
happy
God bless.
Sunday.
Yeah, ditto.